Well, here I am again, having tried to access the webcam um, feature of microphone. Doesn't seem to work at all. As if you've seen the Craig and Jane show that I was guesting on, you'll see that I wasn't able to access the microphone on it then, and so I spoke on this telephone to them while uh, being filmed from the webcam that I'd attached to the computer. Anyway, it didn't work. So here I am telling you that this is what that was all about. So you saw this sort of silent movie with me sort of gesticulating a little bit, but no words. And what I was saying was that it was probably the shortest chat that I would have ever had anyway. And in fact, there was no chat on it. So to Lynn Gale, thank you very much for letting me know what was going on, and to Kathy, my long-suffering partner, who told me she couldn't hear me from the bedroom. I thought she was asleep. How wrong can you be? So anyway, yes, I was amazed when that popped up to say, "I cannot hear you." I thought, well, that's a first, isn't it? Wives never hear their partners, I believe. Anyway. So, a very, very good morning to you. And because I'm holding this in my hot little hand, I can actually read who is watching and saying hello. So, Pat Wilson, good morning to you. And Kathy Brumpton, I know you're watching. You cannot escape. So, usually I prop this phone up on some book or something. Or, in fact, I've been known to use biscuit tins and things like that to hand to prop the phone up on. But this time I thought it's so urgent to say why you were watching me doing nothing, saying nothing, that I would just hold it in my hand. So here we go. And what I was going to talk about really was just how happy we should all be for just being here and able to sort of access this wonderful, it's magic, isn't it, really? Can you imagine it? Sort of 50 years ago, this couldn't have happened, or 10 years ago, no. But I mean, 50 or 100 years ago, this would have just been seen as spookery, impossible. H.G. Wells, in his War of the Worlds and all the rest of it, it would have been the stuff of science fiction. So here we are. And I just wanted to, what's this? Not true. Kathy's saying not true. I don't know what I said that she's saying is not true, but that's a sort of blanket statement. That sort of covers everything, really. Whatever it was I said, it wasn't true, according to Kathy. Maybe it was that bit about not listening. Well, and I've now got something strange up on my computer that I shall X. I know about that now, you see. I know how to X things. I don't know a great deal about technology, as you probably gathered, but I do my best. Well, I did get some really nice, they call it feedback, from that interview, that the questions and answer session that I did, actually, which is what it was, for Craig and Jane's psychic channel. And I've made some new friends here because of it, on Facebook, as we say. And what I was going to say was, I'm appearing to you today in this most precious of my possessions, which is a jumper that my mother knitted. So every little stitch in it has got love in it, and I just felt that I just wanted to say to you, that possessions and material goods are nothing without love. And if you have a little token of love from somebody, that is so precious. It must be the most valuable possession that you have. I know that my mum's kept a little heart that had been cut out with a little lavender water bottle stuck on it from two of my children. And I found that after she passed away, in her drawer, and I still have that. and so it's just lovely to see that how treasured those objects of love are. Well, speaking about objects of love, Lynn Gale asked me about our pets. Do they live on in the spirit world? Can they get through to us? And when you're alive, she's saying, I'll just put now, shall I? Now. N-O-W. There we are. That's to Lynn to say, that's saying wave. So I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if I can wave at you or if I have to press wave. But anyway, I'm waving at you. So I was hoping... Oh, hello, Roy. I hope you're well this morning. It's nice and bright here on the ye old fens of England. And Roy was someone who went into publishing and printing, and he's younger than me, so he was a boy really when we were both raving around in the West End, but that's what we did in the old 60s, so we'll say no more about that. Anyway, I hope that you're chipper this morning, Roy. And Lynn, if you're actually watching, she's seen my little message to say that I'm live. Let's go on about the pets, shall we? The first thing that I ever saw, if you know, actually saw objectively, when I started developing in this way of life, was my cat, and she appeared to me it was just amazing. And it was a time when I was really frightened about seeing spooks or seeing individuals in spirit. I was really terrified, and I spent most of my childhood under blankets, hiding from ghosts and sort of ghosties and people that used to come and see me. But yes, so my cat actually helped me to lose my fear of the other world, if you like. So yes, animals do live on. They do not rely on human beings to love them in order for them to survive physical death. This fly that's buzzing around now is likely to experience that quite soon. No, I wouldn't. Yes, the point is that you know, it's like everything else. If something is born into this life, then it's born into eternal life. It's not dependent on anything other than its creator, and the great creator, in its wisdom, saw that we would not be destroyed in any way. So, you know, we come from that world of spirit, and we are here in the spirit within our bodies. You know, the person that you talk about, you know, me talking to you is not my body talking to you, is it? It's me, the inside person, the spirit within. So that's what we're talking about. And when we pass over, we go to spirit now. So does everything else. So everything here on earth has an etheric double. We have an etheric double. It's like our spirit shell, if you like, immediately recognised and recognisable when we pass over to that etheric world, the world of spirit, in the first dimensions of that. And equally so are the animals. And, you know, our domestic animals, and our pets particularly, are very close to us. And of course they will be there with us in that next world, because they're there now, those that have gone before us. And before my dear doggy Holly departed, she was looking straight into my eyes, and I said to her, "I'll see you on the other side." And I knew that, you know, she knew what I meant. And, you know, because language Language is only the translation of symbols that we have in our head. We actually see language, and then we translate it into our various languages that we've grown up with. We can learn other people's languages, of course, if we're adept at that. But the fact is that, because we think we all have these symbols that come into our mind that we translate. So it's not stupid to think that animals can also communicate with us. They do communicate with us, and we talk about talking, but if you actually think about language and talking, we only translate that which we are prompted, and the impressions that we get in our mind we relay to others, and indeed to ourselves when we're talking to ourselves, as speech. So animals are able to communicate with us from that other side because they there have that grasp of the universal language. Language is universal in spirit. So, and that means everybody. That includes animals. So, if anybody is grieving the loss of their animal, please know that they are fine. They are perfectly well over there. And quite often I've seen that they're reunited with their parents, with their litter, with their brothers and sisters in a litter. Oh, Lynn, good morning. You made it. Well, unfortunately, I think I've just spent a whole load of time talking talking about our animals and how they survive after physical death, and how they communicate with us. So as not to bore everybody, I won't go over it again. But as we know, these live videos on Facebook are able to be replayed. So you'll be able to catch up on everything that I've said so far. And I think that that's just sort of the basic knowledge that we all need to have. This thing, I mentioned about etheric duplicates and our etheric doubles. It's not really a double, it's really ourselves. How can I explain that? Once when I was waiting to give a reading to someone, I was in the hairdressers a long time ago, you can imagine. I had thick black hair then, I have to say that, long. And my hairdresser at the time, when I just started learning about this and just started to give mediumship messages and so on. And she wanted a message, so I said yes. So I was sitting there. So I knew that you had to book a time, as you do with spirit. So I sat there, and she wasn't quite ready because she was doing another customer. And as I stared at myself in the mirror, I saw this sort of me moving about me. So there was me here, and then if you can imagine it, I saw another me that was me wriggling. It was really strange, and I thought, wow. And you see, that was how I was going to receive the messages from that other world, through my etheric body, not through this one. It's too, well, bodies are very dense in their atomic makeup, as you can imagine. We understand that this world has got more space than it has solid matter in it. It's just that it's all vibrating at such a rate it holds together. So the atoms that are holding me together are solid in that vibration, but that other spiritual vibration that belongs to the spirit world, that we all do, that was moving me about because it was anxious to get that information for this lady, my hairdresser, who wanted to hear a message. So you see, that's what I was talking about when I was talking about etheric duplicates. It's this etheric self that we have as well, that by which we are recognised when we pass over, and how we recognise people as mediums. When they come through to us, we can sort of see them as they were, and especially they're allowed to show themselves as they were when they want to be seen. So we see people in their prime when they might have passed away at 100 years old. So their loved one sitting before you, would be saying, well, that's not what they look like. No, she never looked like that. But you have to say to them, well, this is being shown at a young age, middle age or whatever. So it's very, very interesting. But our animals usually come back to us as they were, funnily enough. They don't choose an age. Generally speaking, they show themselves to us as we remember them best. And I think that's wonderful. Only love can do that. And, animals themselves are not self-conscious as we are. But they are able to project images of themselves to us as they were when we last saw them. Well, not exactly the last, because obviously some of our pets were quite ill when they went, or it would be by injury or something. But they do show us themselves as they were, as we recall them, and that is very, very comforting. I know that so many hundreds of people have seen their animals, and I mean, I lived in an old mansion block once up New North Road in off the Caledonian Road, and there used to be a famous cattle market there, the Caledonian Road Cattle Market, and they built on the site of the old cattle market. They actually built an estate, and my mansion block was opposite that new estate, and I think they called it the Clock Tower Estate because there was a clock tower on it that they left, and the residents of that estate could hear cattle. They could hear the cattle, as as a manifestation. And I don't know if they still can, or if the cattle gave up, or they were told that it was better for them not to keep returning to this Earth's dense atmospheric plane. But they certainly heard them. They certainly heard the cattle during the night quite often. So that was a bit mournful. But, most people experience, that dent in the bed sometimes, or that feeling that someone just jumped on your bed, down by your feet, or you suddenly catch a glimpse, perhaps in the kitchen, or, near where they might have gone to get their food, stuff like that. They try and get back to us where they can, especially if they feel that we're upset about their passing there. So I hope that's cheered a few people up who've lost animals, because really, the basic, I believe the basic reason for this ability, if you like, that's been given to people to actually perceive, the spiritual world, the world of spirit, is actually to give comfort and upliftment to all of us, and that is the primary reason for actually saying to people, yes, we do live on after we pass from this life to the next, and we are able to communicate back through the good offices of a good medium, and we're able to let our loved ones know by a message, by some kind of communication. And this applies to our animals too. Now, the thing is that we shouldn't worry ourselves too much about what's going to happen in the future. We have to go with it and know that everything's going to be all right in the end. That's the other reason that people were given this ability to basically cheer people up, I think, not to make them miserable, and also to let people know that you do not have to be particularly religious. So you don't have to be religious at all. You don't have to perform any ceremonials or anything at all in order to inherit that eternal life, because it's our birthright. It comes as a package. If you think about it, I'm sitting here chatting to you. I was made in my mother's womb, as you were too, as we all were, from like two little sparks, boom, get together in the dark, boom. And this sort of cataclysmic event is being repeated every second. And what is that cataclysmic event? We are coming into being. We are going to grow in our mum's insides, and then we're going to be delivered here, and we're going to live here in this in this world. None of us come out laughing or smiling. Everybody comes out crying, and if we are not crying when we come out, they smack us, so we get hurt. That's the first thing we understand. Bang, and we cry. So the whole of the human race was born crying, and then we spend the rest of our lives trying to get happy and smiling. And we don't like crying, do we? And we don't like to see other people crying. And it's just something interesting to think about, don't you think? Now, over my shoulder there, you see Doris Stokes. I mentioned her in that interview. It was supposed to be an interview, but it was more like people were asking me questions. I didn't mind. I thought it was wonderful. And Doris Stokes got a good mention. And at the time I was saying to them, because I had this webcam on, you see, and I was talking into my phone because the webcam microphone didn't work as it didn't this morning. And I was telling people, oh yes, and I've got a picture of Doris Stokes, but of course I couldn't show anybody, but I can show you. Look, there she is. And that actually belonged to her, and that was painted by one of her grateful clients. Erica Anderson painted that in oils and gave that as a gift. And of course she was a very, very famous medium, and very wonderful. And now I'm a lot older than she was when she passed away. But there you go. It's a throw of the dice, perhaps. Now, I see, oh yeah, Joe, hi, and Samantha, and oh, Colin, wow, my old coach. Wow. I hope that everything's going swimmingly for you, Colin. He's a triathlon coach. He was a speed skater and a speed skating coach. Very, very good. And, one of the best. And he used to come and collect me. You know, I mentioned about living in North London near the Calais. He used to come and collect me to take me to Richmond Ice Rink to get there for 6 a.m. training. And he lived way over in South London. He used to drive up to me, on a Sunday morning to pick me up. And one of the things I remember, one morning, it was so icy outside, unusually for England. It was so icy outside, and he came out to get me, and I came round to get in the car, and it was all iced up. And I went, the car door's all iced up, Colin. He said, well, here you are. Here's the ice scraper. Get in. And I had to hack my way into the car. But he was wonderful to me. Not to mention the vegetables that he used to bring, because I did have 6 children and I was on my own. And he used to bring me, vegetables as well, which was very, very useful because, of course, he was a greengrocer. There, I've told them all, Colin. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad that I've had this little chat with you. I hope that, the next time I must try and get something done about this webcam and microphone thing, because I have a feeling that it's probably easier to answer people's questions and so on, which would be really good, because I like doing that. If anybody has any questions anyway, please message me or put them as comments under this video, and I'll do my best to type away and let you have an answer the best way I can. So I do hope that you have a great Sunday. I hope that if you are of a religious intent, that you enjoy the services that are online from all the different religions now, and especially from my spiritualist one. If you can find anything going on, being streamed from a spiritualist church. I think Wimbledon Spiritualist Church has one on a Sunday morning at 11, and we're now on, she says, squinting at something or other o'clock. I told you that I was terrible with the seeing of things. No, anyway, they have it. I think they go out at 11. So Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, I know that they have one, and there must be other ones if you Google it. So whatever religion you're from or none, I do wish you a very, very good day and blessings, and I hope that your loved ones are safe and well. If they're not, all our prayers are with them for their recovery and their healing and comfort, and remembering also our little animals who also need to be looked after at this time. And let's hope that because of all this, that things will improve for the human race as a whole, and that people will be less critical of each other, depending on, you know, where they come from, what they look like, what clothes they wear, you know, sort of terribly shallow stuff like that, because when push comes to shove, we are all in this together. And I would like just to say, dear God, keep my friends and family safe. Give them healing and comfort at this time. I ask also that your love and blessings be showered upon all the animals that we love, and even those that we are not very keen on. Dear Lord, we know that you will look after us all, and you will keep your promise that you will never again destroy the human race as you did after the flood. Before the flood, sorry. Amen. I'm sure God will forgive me for the odd blip in my prayer. Okay, so I shall speak to you again soon, and I'm still going to persevere. I'm going to try. I know that Roger Bamford, good friend, one of our South African friends who lives locally, and a good neighbour, has offered to lend me a webcam that has a working microphone. So I'm going to take him up on that, Roger, and maybe next time we'll try this webcam lark again. So until then, goodbye for now. God bless you.